Hey guys, Weeby News here. So today I'm going to be giving my review for Danganronpa 3 Future Side Episode 3. And if you didn't watch my last episode, you might be wondering why I'm not using Facecam for this video. And honestly, for the last video I didn't have a whole lot of time to edit, so I thought it would be easier if I didn't put Facecam in because it's been making my editor crash and lag a ton. So I decided to do that, and it took so much less time to edit it without Facecam on for the review segment. I'll still include the reaction segment with the face cam, but it has to take off at least like 3 or 4 extra hours of editing to just not include the face cam, and to me it's totally worth it. I feel like this way you guys get the episode quicker and I don't have to edit for another 4 extra hours or deal with lagging and then like my editor crashing all the time, so I think this is the best of both worlds for everybody. But jumping straight into the review section, there are a few theories I want to go over that I didn't mention in my last video covering Future Side, and the first one I mentioned in my Despair Side video, but not in that one, so I'm gonna go ahead and re-talk about it. I'm not sure who originally noticed this observation, but I saw the Tumblr user Blue Rainbow 101 pointed out, and I'll link their Tumblr in the description. Basically, the observation is that there's no longer a mark where Sonosuke threw his weapon when he was trying to hurt Naegi in the first episode, and Kirigiri even notices this. So it could mean they're in a new building, or they're in a virtual world, or something along those lines. The next theory I want to mention is this theory that all the pixel characters walking sideways are the ones who are killed, all the ones walking forward are the ones who live, and the traitor is the one who's turned around. And I'm pretty sure the original person that come up with this is somebody who goes by the name Rindude, commenting from GoGo Anime. I think it was originally posted on Reddit, so I will try to find the link to that post and link it to you guys in the description. But now that we've gotten all of those base theories out of the way, let's go ahead and move on into the episode review. So we start off with a huge twist right at the beginning of the episode, and that is that Asahina is actually alive, and that literally it was a fake knife and tomato sauce used as fake blood. So I definitely did not see this coming. I don't really think anybody saw this coming, but it did kind of seem like a cheap thing to do, and Kodaka is known to be a troll, but he usually doesn't do like cheap writing tactics. Like, it seems a bit out of character for him, and it makes me think that if the attacker did this for a specific reason, it wasn't really just Kodaka trying to pull one over on us. And that leads me to talk about this post that I found online. Basically, in this post, they sort of agree with me, saying that it wouldn't really make sense for Kodaka just to do this as a troll, and what would the traitor or the killer's intention be in doing this. And they put that maybe this was a shock value intended only for Naegi, and that they wanted to see the despair on his face looking at his fellow comrade taken down, and to just really mess with him. As for the death music playing theory, I have pretty much completely given up on it at this point, because it played for the security guards who were dead, it did not play for Chisa who was dead, it played for Asahina who wasn't dead, and it has not played for the great Gozu who is dead. So I think they're just choosing to play it whenever they feel like it. I'm not really completely sure. I'm guessing it's just an artistic choice at this point. Also, later on we do see Asahina change into her new outfit, which is the one that is represented in the opening theme song. And of course, moving on, we see that great Gozu is confirmed dead, which is pretty sad, but him helping Naegi, I do think made him a big target to be the next person killed. And looking at his injuries, it's kind of hard to tell exactly what happened, but I do think it's weird that both times the attacker has killed somebody, they've hung them up. I'm not completely sure if that means anything, I just think it's a bit odd. And comparing it to his death in the opening, it's a little bit different. It's not exactly the same. Looks like in the opening he's being crushed to death by chains, but in the anime, he's hung up by pipes, and that his actual cause of death was being stabbed by a knife in the heart. In the next scene, we move on to Sonosuke and Haruka sharing a touching moment with a picture of Monokuma Mona Lisa in the background. And in this scene, Haruka offers Sonosuke another treat, but he refuses. This leads me to believe that that is actually his forbidden action. The thing that strikes me weird about this scene is that they both proclaim to love each other and trust each other full-heartedly, but if this is his forbidden action, then that implies that he doesn't trust her enough to share that with her. In the next scene, we see Kirigiri, Tengen, and Ryota all waking up from their sleeps, and the particular thing about this scene is that it seems like Kirigiri does not trust Tengen in this, as she thinks to herself that he does not look like he was worried at all about them being killed. As of right now, I don't have a huge basis not to trust Tengen, but the fact that Kirigiri finds him suspicious is definitely a red flag in my opinion, because she is very smart, and she's usually able to call these things out pretty early on. Next, it shows Munakata and Sakakura waking up, and Munakata states that if he were the attacker, he would kill him first. Then Sakakura implies, yes, if they're trying to kill us all, and Munakata states, indeed, I hope that is their goal, which Sakakura looks as if he disagrees with that statement. After Asahina changes clothes, Miaya shows Naegi how to get to the intercom system, so they go ahead and head out that way. On the way over there, Naegi asks Miaya if her forbidden action is that she cannot turn right. She at first gets highly defensive, but then claims that this is true. A lot of people, including myself, are pretty suspicious of Miaya here because she doesn't actually show her bracelet, unlike Asahina and Naegi. Many people believe that Miaya's forbidden action is actually that she cannot be touched, because when Asahina tries to go and touch her in the previous Future Arc episode, she awkwardly scoots away. In the next scene, we see Hagakure crying out for Naegi, Asahina, and Kirigiri. He's eventually shot down by a helicopter and then gives up, stating that he thinks they'll be okay anyways without him. And the scene after this, Kirigiri states something very interesting, which is that the rules disadvantage the attacker, and it's as if they have no intention of winning. So this kind of goes back to my theory about the attacker and the traitor being two different people, because it honestly does seem like it might be a little too easy with just how the rules are set right now. So I think Monokuma would have a twist in there that he's not telling them. And then with an extra member of the killing game hiding among them, I definitely do think there is a high possibility that the attacker and the traitor are two separate people. Also, in the same scene, Ryota sorta has like a mini mental breakdown, and back in some of the Famitsu articles, it did mention that he has a very strong sense of hope and he had a very strong love for hope, and a lot of us wondered if it was like a Naegi love for hope or like a Nagito love for hope. So seeing this scene definitely raises my suspicions as to whether Ryota is or is not on the crazy train a little bit with Nagito. But over the intercom, Naegi gives a long speech about hope and how everybody should work together, and in this speech they also show a small flashback to Naegi facing Izuru Kamakura. Now there's nothing that happens in this flashback I can really make a theory about, but I just wanted to point it out because Izuru looks so badass. I love any scene that he appears in. So after his speech is finished, Juzo and Munakata talk for a little bit. Juzo says that it was a terrible speech, and Munakata states that it was a splendid speech, but that the subject matter is hollow to Naegi because he has not faced true despair. We honestly do learn a lot more about Munakata and his ideals in this episode, but I'll talk a little bit more about that later on. The next scene is between Sonosuke and Ruruka. They talk about how much they trust and love each other, and it's all very mushy. After that, Seiko comes by and they accuse her of being the traitor. We see Seiko and Ruruka fight quite a bit, and they reveal a little bit about what their whole betrayal situation was about. And Ruruka says, "You used that weird drug to betray me." This is a really important line in my opinion because it's the first line that I've seen referencing what exactly they are fighting over. But arguably the craziest thing about this scene is when Seiko downs a ton of pills and transforms into this monster sort of thing. And I'm guessing she did the same thing when she faced off against Mikon in that despair flashback, because she has that sort of cat eye look to her in both situations. But it definitely does seem that she has the ability to create these potions that can change a person's behavior and the way they look almost entirely, which would explain why Ruruka does accuse her of being the one who created the gas inside the bangles they're wearing. So while this scene is taking place, we see Kizakura watching over them, and he says, "Geez, how long are they gonna stay mad about it?" Then he calls them a bunch of kids and says, "Well, whatever, I need to meet up with that girl." And this line is extremely suspicious because what girl does he need to meet up with, and what does he need to talk to her about? So the last scene I'm going to talk about is this fight scene between Munakata and Naegi, and the very first thing I want to talk about is that the way Munakata enters the scene is quite strange. He stabs his sword through a glass window and breaks it, therefore letting him enter the room. And a lot of people have speculated that his forbidden action is that he can't actually open doors because he hesitates to do so in the last Future episode. And in this episode, he refuses to use the door to get to Nagi, but breaks a window to do so instead. When approaching Nagi, Munakata talks a lot about his beliefs and why he disagrees so much with Nagi's version of hope. It seems to me that his main disagreement with Nagi is that he believes that Nagi is very naive when it comes to hope, and that he has not experienced true despair because he was trapped inside a game, which he refers to as an easy game made by Junko Enoshima. Therefore, he has no right to speak about hope and despair because he has not faced true despair, according to Munakata. I also found this really cool Tumblr post by the user Kamaisa, who explains Munakata's actions and ideals really well. In the post, they state that Munakata more than likely wants to work with Nagi, but because Nagi refuses to acknowledge despair, he gets really frustrated with that. They also write that Munakata fears Nagi because he is so influential, and he doesn't want him convincing people that they aren't going to go through more soul-crushing despair because they will. It's a setup for failure. And basically, he thinks Nagi is giving people false hope, hope without despair, while he is giving them a real hope, hope as a result of despair. They end the post stating that Munakata believes that you must fight despair with despair rather than fighting it with hope alone like Nagi believes. And also, if you guys want to check out the rest of that post, I will link it in the description. Then, of course, at the very end of the episode, we see Munakata going in to slice Nagi, and then the screen goes black. And for this part, I did see a really interesting theory posted by the Tumblr user The Cat Girl Yang. She put that she believes that Juzo threw the chair at Kirigiri in order to get their attention to tell them that Munakata was about to try and kill Nagi. She put that she believes this because she thinks he is becoming clouded. He does seem like he disagrees a few times with Munakata's points earlier in the episode. Also, in the opening, as Juzo's death, it looks as if he's being sliced in the same exact way that Nagi was about to be sliced by Munakata's sword. So I thought that was just an interesting theory I would point out to you guys. If you want to check it out, I will link it in the description. But anyways, this is my episode review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And also, I did want to say something. I have been getting just flooded with different theories and messages in my inbox on Tumblr and on Twitter and on here, and I apologize. I have not been able to get around to answering or replying to all of them. I'm thinking about maybe just doing like a video special where I reply to different messages and maybe comments as well, so I can like address things that I've either missed and you guys have commented, or theories you guys have sent me, and that way I won't feel as guilty about not replying to everything. But I just want to let you guys know that, so if you have messaged me recently and didn't hear back, I promise it's not like out of spite or anything. I've just been really overflooded with messages and have not been able to respond to them all. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I will see you real soon. What the what? Oh my god. Oh my god. Seriously? What? Oh my god, KingKodiak is such a troll. He is the biggest troll on earth. You've gotta be kidding. What? What is she doing? Oh god. Not even my final form.
Subscribe to Weeby News for more hope-filled videos.